And now that we know our open chords, we just learned the major version of the open chords. The next important thing to do is to look at the variations on those chords. And each chord has the same variation, but it's fingered differently. So I could pick any chord and show you the variations. But the one I'm going to pick is D. Even though E is easier, D you can hear it much better because D is a much brighter note. So let's take a look at the variations and remember what these sound like. And there's only a handful of these variations. Okay, first one, let's start off with a D major. Oop. Nice and bright, very straightforward. The most important distinction you'll see in the chord is to go from a major to a minor, from a happy sounding chord to a sad sounding chord. And what we're doing musically is and again, look at my piano videos, is we're actually lowering the third, we're flatting the third. So if you look at the D here, we're going to take this note, which is the third, and we're going to drop it to there. Now I can't go like this, it's hard for me to finger it, so the fingering of the D minor, this is going to be a D minor chord, is to finger it like this. So look at the chord chart, and you basically switch these around a bit. You basically have fourth finger, third finger, second finger on the A, and you've got a D minor. Sounds kind of sad. Practice going back and forth. Just back over and over again while you're watching TV. Okay. The next important chord is, instead of the third, we're going to change the seventh. And there's two ways to change the seventh. One is the major seventh, and then there's the dominant seventh. The dominant seventh is generally just called the seventh. So let's compare these chords. And again, I started off with that song because I'm going to use these chords right now. So the major seventh is when you lower the tonic note, the bass, the chord, this is a D, when you lower it by a half step to a C sharp. And you're actually playing a seventh. Again, look at the piano videos. In this case, the chord sounds very beautiful, kind of a beautiful sound. This is a D major, and I'm going to play a D major 7. Sounds kind of jazzy or soft, pretty. Practice. Nice, cool sound. The other type of seventh is the dominant seventh, where instead of lowering this note a half, you lower it a full 2 half steps. So you change this note to here. That's also referred to as the blues note. So the thirds and the sevenths is what makes the chords, gives them their character. So instead of playing it like this, I got to refinger it like this. Right? So look at the chord chart, and you can see where I'm hitting my third finger here, second one there, and fourth one there. So practice. So we've learned 3 variations: D major, D minor, D major 7, D7. Let's play a song with this. Right? Here's a typical chord progression that you hear in so many songs. You basically go from a triad to a major 7 to a dominant 7. Listen to that. You probably already know what songs I'm talking about. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other. Then there's another chord, which I won't get into. Hear me. There's just so many songs that have this riff. Now the song I was playing actually took this one and lowered it even further, the dominant 7th even further, which was a 6th, a D6. And the way you do that one is you just leave the string open. That's a D6. So again, you're playing, look at the chord chart, look at my fingers. My second finger here, my third finger there. So the song I was playing when we came in was very simple. I'm just lowering this note like that, really simple. Everybody talking at me in the words of the play, and I go to an A. Only echoes of the mind try that. People stopping staring, I can see the faces, only the echoes of the man. Right? So really simple. Just takes a lot of practice to get this stuff working over and over again. Okay, so we have one other chord I'm going to show you, which is the minor seventh. This one's a nuance on the other chord. So this is a minor chord, right? But I can combine the dominant seventh and the minor to create a minor seventh. So if you remember the dominant seventh, we took the tonic note, we lowered it a whole step, 2 half steps, to get a dominant seventh. We're also going to take the third and lower that as well, and we're going to get a minor seventh. This is the D minor. Hard to hear, but the character of the minor seventh is very similar to the minor, but it's got a little bit more fatness to it. It's called a fatness. It kind of adds character to the chord. And this is one of these things where you'll learn over time what that means. So let's review those chords again, and let's review the character of those chords. It's the character of the chord that you're really looking to understand. The triad, the major chord, is just very bright and happy, a little bit boring sometimes. The minor, sad. The major seven, kind of pretty. The dominant seventh, bluesy. And then the minor seven, which is very similar to the minor, a little bit more fatness in it. I also, of course, the sixth, which is not as used as much, so we're not going to get into the sixth at this time. I just illustrated it for that song. Okay, that's the D chord. Now we got to do the same thing with the other chords. But the other chords, we can't always play all those variations, all right? So, and I'll show you why. Let's go to the E chord now, where you can play all those variations, and let's go through all those variations real quickly. So E major, we'll do the minor. Always start with the minor, because the minor is the most important change. You're going from happy to sad, you're lowering your third. So in the case of E, this is the third. I'm going to lower it by opening that up. The E one is much easier. I'm going to play an E chord, and I'm just going to lift up my index finger, and that becomes an E minor. So you practice that one too. Okay? The E major 7 is figured like this. And you're hitting all 6 strings, and you're putting your fingers like this. It's E major 7. You notice you can't hear it as well as you can the D major 7. Just because it's lower, a little bit more muddy. And then you can play the Muskrat, Candlelight. See, the major 7 chords are very pretty. Now let's do the E7, which looks like this. E dominant 7, like that. And then the E minor 7 is really easy. You lift that one up and you're only hitting the one note. It's actually E minor 7. It doesn't really sound that good in this position, but you can use it. Some people also, you'll notice this note here is also a dominant 7. So some folks, when they do a 7, will take their pinky and put it right here. Because this note is the same as this note. So you can play a dominant 7 like this. This is a D, but this is also a D. It's an octave up, so you can go put your pinky there. It's kind of hard to do, right? So when you play a minor 7th to make it more interesting, you, instead of just hitting this note, you can go. Example of a song that's played with that chord is Horse with No Name. That's part of the journey. I was looking at all my life. Over and over again. Passing bugs and rocks and things. So what am I doing here? Might as well throw this in there. I'm hitting a D chord, but I'm lifting up. Remember I said play around this? I'm lifting up this third and hitting an E, which is a second. So this is a kind kind of a very common chord. Or I can play a D chord. This kind of. Like I said, you can lift up any of these notes and just see what happens. Experiment. Try different things. Okay, that's the E. Now, let's try the other ones. Let's do the A. The A, we can also do all the variations. A chord, A major. A minor, I'm lowering my third. So the A minor is fingered like this. Like that. Got one finger here. There, just look at the chart. Right. A minor. A major 7 is like this. Pretty soft. Practice especially a chord like this is a very pretty chord. Practice taking your pick and just moving it between the strings and just kind of wiggling it around, almost hitting each string separately. There's also something called finger picking, which I'll show later. I'm not going to show it now, but just with finger picking. Practice that. Remember, it's all about the feel. That's A major 7. Now if I lift this up, and again, I'm taking that 7th and I'm lowering it 1/2 step even further, I hit the A7. That bluesy kind of sound. And then an A minor 7 is like this. See, in here you can actually hear the difference between the A minor and the A minor 7. You can hear that fatness that it adds. This is an A minor. A minor 7. This adds a little subtle other sound. And you've got songs like, for example, this Neil Young song. Mama, hey, hey. See, it's ma. Sounds better when you hit a minor 7. Ma goes mama. It's a little bit more bluesy. So minor 7s are very popular chords. They just add a little bit of fatness or blues to your sound. Now we're going to show you the two final open chords where we can't play all the variations. So let me give you an example. G. Here's our G chord. Turns out we can't play a G minor. And for all you geeks, the reason is because here's the B. That's the third right here. We can't lower it any further. So you literally cannot play a G minor in this kind of configuration. You have to use these other chords, the bar chords, to do it. That's a G minor. We'll get to that at another time. So G, and this one's very simple. There's only a couple of variations. G, and this is the root note. I'm going to lower it a 1/2 step. G major 7. Play it like, there's various ways to play it like this. The dominant 7th is down there. City girls just seem to find out early. You already know that chord. C, A minor, how to open doors with D, just a smile. And I'm going to take my pinky, by the way. Oh, I left out one chord, the suspended. If I take that third and I raise it a 1/2 step, instead of going down for a minor, I go up a 1/2 step, I get a suspended chord. So here's a D suspended. Here's an E suspended. Can't really hear it as well. D is a really, you can really hear the nuances. Here's an A suspended. Here's a C. You're raising the third instead of lowering it. Suspended chord. So a suspended chord, the sound of a suspended chord is you're kind of suspending, you're going somewhere with it. It's kind of like what's happening next. So again, we go back to that Eagles song. City girls just seem to find out early. A minor, how to open doors with just a D smile. Hear that? Late that night. Okay, so suspended chord. My guitar's already going out of tune. God. Okay, and we have one more left to show you the variations, and that's the C chord. And again, this is another chord where you cannot play a minor for the same reasons as we had with the G chord, is that the third is in an open position. You can't lower it any further. Of course, I can loosen the string, but that's not going to work. Okay, C. Can't play a C minor, but we can play a C7. This one's kind of weird. Again, don't ask why, but you put your pinky right here, you get a C7. That's a C dominant 7. Remember, C7, C dominant 7s are the same. There's C7/dominant 7 and C major 7. This is the dominant 7, again, that bluesy sound, that's C7. You could also hit a major 7, which is done by lifting your index finger. So you can play. The song Something is actually played in the key of C. So again, Something goes from a C major to a C major 7 to a C dominant 7. Right? Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. You can't play the F. That's a different kind of chord. Okay, so you got your open chords. You got your variations on your open chords. You got 3 months of work right there. But you want to have fun. So you want to pick songs that you can pick songs that you can play with these open chords. And you can go online and find them, but let me give you some ideas of songs you can do that. Let's start off with the absolute simplest song of the Beatles, which is Paperback Writer, because it only has 2 chords. So maybe we should focus on 2 and 3 chord songs. And there's not a lot of 2 chord songs that are good, right? But Paperback Writer is one of them. Paul McCartney actually had a goal, which was to write a song with only 1 chord. And he failed. He couldn't make it work because for just a moment, he uses a second chord. The entire song is in the key of G. It's in the chord of G, and there's a C in there too. So let's look at it. So no matter will you read my book, it took me years to write. Will you take a look at this novel by a man named Lear? And I'm here to job, and I want to be a paperback C writer. Paperback writer. Really easy. Paperback writer. There's a whole other section there, but I think it's those chords. That's an easy one. Let's look at another one that's written in another 3-chord song. A good one is Louie Louie. G, C, D. Practice is hard. I know this is going to be really hard, but practice is. And practice muffing while you're doing it, because you don't want to sound like a bunch of mess. Louie Louie, oh, oh. Wild things. You're in my heart, sing chords. So there are plenty of songs that you can learn. If you want to know what some of those are, just you can look them up. Just you can probably look up open chords, easy open chord songs. Try the Beatles. There's so many Beatles songs that are written with these. Okay, so those are your open chords. You got 3 or 4 months of work to do, but I'm going to give you a little sneak preview on some other chords that are down the road. The next set of chords we're going to learn, which I mentioned there's 2 sets, are the bar chords. And we're going to show them in more detail in the next lesson. But let me just show you what they are so you get to think about what they are. The idea behind a bar chord is they're kind of like your rock chords. And they allow you to play all the other chords like F and E flat and that kind of thing. There's basically 2 types of bar chords that people widely use. And they are based off of 2 of our chords that we already know, the open chords. One is the E chord, and the other one's the A chord, right? We're going to develop other chords from these chords, and I'll explain how we do that. Now if I take the E chord, and I finger it like this, instead of like this, and finger it like this, I can move it up and get an F chord. But of course, I got my open strings. This does sound kind of cool. But it doesn't work when I go up the neck. If I move this up here, I got to raise these strings as well. Everything has to go up. So what I do is I wish I could take this nut, it's called a nut, this thing right here, and move it up. But I can do that with my finger. Now these are really, really hard. And we'll go over them in another lesson. But basically, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, or G sharp, A. Right? Those are bar chords. We'll go over those in another lesson. The other type of bar chord is based off the A. If you play the A like this, frees up your index finger. And you go up, you can bar it like this. B flat, B, C, D. So let me give an example of a song I can play with open chords or I can play with bar chords. Really easy song, Feel Like Making Love. Again, another song you can play. It's a D, G, and has a C in there occasionally. Baby, when I think about you, I think about the one. Oh, let's go right to the chorus. Feel like making D. C, G, G. C, G. Now, I like to play that part with my bar chords because they're power chords. So instead of going, I can go. So these bar chords allow you to do all kinds of other things, right? So Feel Like Making Love is, so typically I'll play the verse with these nice, pretty open chords. Baby, I think about you. I think about love. Oh, and now we go to the bar chords. Feel like making. Feel like making love. Feel like making love to you. Suspended. 2, 3, 4. Alright? So those are bar chords. There are other types of chords which we'll get into later, which are kind of your jazz chords. These are other chords. If you're into jazz, you can ask about the jazz chords. I'm going to go over them briefly at another lesson. But those are your jazz chords. Another style is finger picking. And you saw a little bit here. This is finger picking. A lot of songs done with finger picking. Let me give you an example of a song that I love, which has very complex finger picking, to give you an idea what this is. One of the most beautiful Beatles songs. Very difficult finger picking. It's a finger picking style that Donovan taught John Lennon when they were in India. And Donovan suggested that John write a song about his mother. And it is just a beautiful song. Very complex finger picking. It's a very specific finger picking style, but just to give you an idea of what this is. Half of what I say is meaningless. It's pretty. But I say it just to reach you. I'm going to play that same song. John Lennon actually does that a half step higher. He actually does it in the key. The song was too low for his voice, so he wanted to play it 2 steps higher, but you can't because it's open unless you use a capo. So let me give you an example. With a capo, I can hit an E chord. If I want to do the whole song in F, I got to go like this, right? Or instead of putting my finger here, I can use this as my finger, basically, and I can put this on the 1st fret and hit an E chord right here. Hit my open chords in a higher note. So example would be Landslide is a song that goes like this. Playing C. So I'm playing, but if I did it down here, it wouldn't sound as good. It's too low. Jethro Tull very often will do songs up here on the 3rd fret. example is Aqualung, E minor to D. You already know these chords. Some sleek and cold, old man wandering, A, lonely, A minor, taking time, the E minor to D. But he's playing it on the 3rd fret, so if I did the same song without the capo, it would be some sleek and cold, old man wandering, lonely, taking time. Much rather do it up here because it sounds a lot better, higher, and so you see Jethro Tull very often singing his stuff up here. Some sleek and cold, old man wandering, lonely. There are other songs that are much more complicated. Like, for example, Blackbird. It's something that's just way out of anything I'm going to teach. There's no finger picking. It's just weird. That's pretty sophisticated. Pretty sophisticated stuff, right? So initially you want to avoid that. There are also other songs that have a combination of straight up chords with sort of odd little things that you need to learn. An example would be a beautiful song from the Beatles. The Beatles that are great to teach, Mother Nature's Son. So I do these odd things. I have these funny chords. See suspended? You've seen that. Now watch this. These are simple chords. Born a boy, young country boy. And it does something weird. Mother Nature's Son. Now I go to regular chords. All day long, I'm sitting, singing songs for everyone. G, D minor 7. Then that weird G. D minor 7. So these songs are created from chords. The other thing is playing leads, which again, I'm not going to go near this, but if I brought out one of those guitars, I could play some heavy metal leads where you're just placing blues. Which you don't do on the acoustic guitar. But that's a whole other thing. Very often, you'll find that lead guitarists, people who are wailing on the guitar like this, are not good at rhythm and they're not singers. Often, not always. But you find that being a lead guitarist, very often they don't sing, and very often they don't write. Because playing lead is like classical music almost. It's a whole different kind of thing. And so you may decide you want to be a lead guitarist, but really start on rhythm, and you'll naturally know if you like singing and write. If you want to write music, you're better off being a rhythm guitarist. Pete Townsend is a rhythm guitarist. He basically can play leads, but he considers himself to be a rhythm guitarist and has written some music that's really, really simple. Like no one knows what it's like to be the bad man. You know all these chords. To be the sad man behind blue eyes. But my dreams, they aren't as empty. I'm suspending it there. Suspended as my conscience seems to be. I suspended that one again. Okay, so your homework is to sit there in front of the TV and just play these chords. Just play those same chords over and over again, but don't just play them. Develop a rhythm sense. Well, let's think. Like another example of an easy song is "Ramble On" by Led Zeppelin. It's just A, E, and A. I play it slightly differently, but E and A. The way I play it. Season falling down. You can play it just E. You can play the E and A like this. Season falling down. Time I went my way. Now, in the case of A here, I'm hitting this A chord, but I'm raising this note, I'm opening this note. It's a very common thing to do, because again, remember, take these chords, try opening up and seeing what happens. A. It's a very common thing to do, is it's called fattening it up. You have an A chord, but if you raise it, which in my case means moving it like that, you just get a fatter sound. Season falling down. Come on with my way. Thanks to a much obliged. Right, soft. Such a pleasant stay. Now it's time for me to go. Remember, using your right hand. Come my way. So just spend hours and hours in front of the TV practicing with your left hand. Remember, you're also muffing with your left hand too. So when I hit this, I'm muffing here, but sometimes I muff with my left hand. I'll raise. When I hit this, I'll go like that. You know, it's slapping the guitar. Practice. And you'll develop your own style. And practice fifths. Fifths are very important. Look it up online, but every note's got a fifth. E to A. And remember, fifths go in two directions. You can go fifth up or fifth down. So in the case of A, I can go A to E. I can go A to D. Very important for writing music. There are very many songs that literally go through the fifths. Example would be Hotel California does that a little bit. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to develop your own style. You might even write some music. Just pick really easy songs.